There is a truth that every soul eventually encounters. Every soul on the path of awakening and healing. The stronger your light, the bigger the shadow. Some say Carl Jung wrote it. Others claim he didn't. But the origin doesn't matter. This quote is incredibly powerful. Whoever said it was able to encapsulate deep ancient wisdom in just a few words and one phrase. As your light expands, so does the shadow. And the quote specifically says the shadow and not your shadow, which would be understood the stronger your light, the stronger your own shadow. But it speaks of the shadow, which I believe speaks to both the collective and the personal shadow. So we're seeing these two dimensions. The more light you hold within, the stronger your own shadow might resist, fear, fight, sabotage your own power, and the collective shadow, which is expressed in others, a family member, a work dynamic, a friend who isn't really your friend, or even a partner in a toxic relationship dynamic. The more light you embody, the more the unconscious will be drawn to you. Yes, the more you embody your light, the more beauty, abundance, and freedom, all of that enters your life. That is a given, and that is the main aspect and beauty of our awakening. But at the same time, if we do not know how to protect our energy field, if we haven't yet fully integrated and embodied this lesson as a soul, that the light will also attract the unconscious. In a sense, the darkness in others. People will project their wounds, their fears, and their suppressed darkness onto you. You feel energies that are not yours, reactions that actually don't belong to you, which can be very confusing because you have these reactions, you have people responding to you with incredible resistance, and your own shadow can get triggered by that and can create doubt and can create unworthiness and that something is wrong with you, that you're damaged and why you're attracting this and all of that. But it's a natural response to you embodying your light. That is why I find this phrase, this incredible nonsensical phrase, when you embody your highest truth, you will only attract the good. That is nonsense. That is simply nonsense because it creates a shaming reality and it completely bypasses the laws in this universe. Because we need to understand, the more light you have, the more you're meant to transmute the darkness. And the way you transmute the darkness is not always by being nice and soft and loving. Those who know you, those who feel you, don't have to be fierce with them. You don't have to protect your energy with them, or at least not as much. But the more light you hold, the more you're meant to transmute the darkness, which means you will have to give others the fierce lesson that they might need to learn. An embodied boundary, a no, not allowing them into your space, into you, otherwise they will suck the energy and they will try to drain you of your light. When I speak of this, some people get this sense of ick and go, well, is it not all love and light? Is it not all sweet? And should we not just love the shadow and love other people? How's that working out for you? I'm not talking about shame. I'm not talking about judgments. But I haven't seen a single person in this universe who's rooted in their highest power and actually went far with this bullshit love and light. Just love everything. Be happy all the time. That doesn't work. You have to protect your energy from some people in this world, and you can still have your heart open. In case the very idea that protecting your energy somehow means you close your heart and you are less spiritual, it doesn't make any sense. It's not embodied wisdom. True wisdom is knowing that your light will draw in so much beauty and the light of others, but you also have to be very mindful and very discerning of the unconscious, of that is being stirred, of the shadows and blind spots that you naturally expose, even if that isn't your intention. Your light and your energy is simply doing this. The shamans have always said, or the ancient shamans have said, The moment your light strengthens, your visibility increases across all planes, not just the physical. What was once hidden starts to notice you. Forces, energies, some call it entities, become aware of your presence, become aware of your light. Light is magnetic, it draws everything toward you, the truth, the shadow, the unseen alike. That is why true spiritual power and wisdom always requires protection, discernment, and groundedness. Ancient shamans even spoke of that the more light a soul carries, the more shadows are following it. This goes very much against the kind of wishy-washy spirituality that we hear in today's world, where everything is about light and bliss and the path of total liberation. Yes, there is liberation. Yes, there is profound bliss, but only if you understand this deeper energetic law and rule. And each one of those unconscious responses of people and even darker energies of other people, they serve your growth. You don't say, thank you, you're my teacher, but that transmutation of you encountering this, but then still staying centered in your light or moving through it and refinding even greater access and embodiment of your light. All of that serves your highest growth. And that is the hidden initiation of awakening, so to speak. The painful part until you make peace with it. And later in today's episode, I'll give you a series of precise step-by-step practices, how you can discern when the shadows of others is moving through your life, how to stay rooted without closing your heart, and how to continue expanding in truth regardless of the external, regardless of what's happening around you. So stay with me, because once you truly understand and then embody this, everything in your life begins to make deeper sense and has deeper meaning and purpose, especially those encounters you wish you never had. This involves your upbringing, your relationships, your heartbreaks, your calling as a soul. All is part of a much greater choreography between your light and the shadow. My name is Lorin Krenn, and I'm a coach, author, and hypnotherapist. I help you to understand masculine-feminine dynamics at the deepest level. The stronger your light, the bigger the shadow. The moment you rise in frequency, in integrity, in your embodiment of truth and consciousness and love, you will face resistance. You will face resistance from within, through doubts, through limiting beliefs, through negative thoughts, through imposter. Who am I to be unapologetically myself? Who am I to feel this deep truth inside me? Who am I to feel this deep calling moving through me? But also from the world around you. The shadow doesn't disappear when you awaken. In fact, it becomes more clear than ever before. In fact, you actually have to get really used to seeing the shadow a lot around you. In fact, everywhere. You start to see it everywhere. And it's not a seeing that is, I am above, I am beyond, I'm so special. That is the shadow or the ego, so to speak, as well. It's a clear seeing. And this is what truth to me is. Truth is when we see beyond the stories, beyond the perceptions and judgments that cloud the truth of what is actually truly happening at the deepest level. So something I've realized in my own awakening journey, I was so confused. And the more I awakened, the more I embodied my light, the more I stepped into my highest calling, which is this right now, the more I stepped into that, the more clarity I received. Not just clarity about who I am, my direction, what I want, but an even deeper clarity, a clarity to actually see what the heck is going on around me. Why am I experiencing this? Why is the shadow triggered in this person? Why do I receive this unconscious reaction? Why did I have this encounter in my life? All of this makes perfect sense. And yes, sometimes I might have a confusing moment and I need to refine myself and ground myself. But this clarity becomes more and more permeating. And this clarity is not one of bliss. Because sometimes clarity is bliss because you can see the beauty so clearly. But sometimes that clarity might be actually even painful. The only difference is The pain of clarity is liberating, and the pain of illusion and confusion is very much the ultimate expression, I believe, of suffering, spiritual, right? Energetic, soul struggle and suffering. Now let's get more practical. Where will you feel that resistance? When you speak your truth. Your truth is your highest frequency. It's the frequency, it's the vibration, it's the energy. It's the signature of your soul, so to speak. And when you speak your highest truth, you will face a lot of resistance around you. Maybe family, maybe a relationship that is no longer in alignment, a friendship, in your work life. It doesn't matter where, but you will see this, notice this resistance everywhere around you. People will not be comfortable with your highest truth. And remember, expressing your highest truth has nothing to do with trying to persuade and convince others of something. That's always the work of being in some ego trip where you want to be right. When you truly embody your truth, you have zero need to convince the other person of it, because you're so rooted in your own power that you don't need validation from another person. You know this is your power. You don't question it. It doesn't matter how others respond. You define your truth based on how it makes you feel inside yourself, deep alignment, and not on the responses, the unconscious resistance of their own shadow. When people will start pulling away, people who you once called deep friends, family members, whatever it is, you will notice that things are just seemingly falling apart to reorganize themselves, because all of this is alignment, and alignment doesn't mean everything gets better. A lot of people don't understand this. They think that alignment means you get on a heart-to-heart connection with everyone, but not everyone has the capacity for that. So what it truly means is that life starts to reorganize itself. And that reorganization often means destruction and rebirth, death and awakening, energetic and spiritual cycle, and also the cycle of nature ultimately. You will notice the resistance of the shadow when you start to truly embody integrity. Because how can one call themselves spiritual or call themselves embodying their light if they are not in highest integrity with all relations ultimately? So when you truly embody integrity, which means you are honest, you don't deceive, you don't speak lies, you don't use other people, you meet them in total truth and transparency and honesty and authenticity, then you'll make those uncomfortable, deeply, deeply uncomfortable, who feel comfortable in manipulation, who feel comfortable in telling lies, who feel comfortable in twisting facts in order to preserve the image of themselves ultimately. There are many reasons why people tell lies and why people are out of integrity. It would be wrong to just say every single one of them is a narcissist or a bad person. Many might be, but it's hard to put it into words. But there are people in this world who, from a young age, have learned that truly the only way to cope with life is to kind of manipulate their way. They don't understand the value and the energetic resonance and alignment and spirit ultimately that resides in full, wholehearted integrity. I'm not making excuses for it, but what I'm saying is that there are people who at some point in their journey became comfortable with manipulation and lying. And you'll make those people feel deeply, deeply uncomfortable because they need others to feel comfortable with those habits and traits which many, many people embody in this world, kind of sell your soul a little bit in order to get somewhere. And that is a huge draining of your power. That is a huge draining of your light. Being in places, doing things that actually are not a true resonance, just in order to, it just invites so much chaos into your life. Nothing terrifies the unconscious more than being seen. And by you embodying that higher truth and that integrity, you are naturally seeing it. You're blinding it with your light. Now, another time the shadow becomes activated is when you grow in success. When you experience more abundance in your life, whatever way of abundance, abundance in love, abundance in safety, abundance in finances, you can be abundant in every area of your life. This is possible if you truly, truly decide that it is for you, that you open yourself to that possibility, which absolutely exists for every single soul who's open to this. When you grow in abundance, let's call it abundance, not success necessarily, abundance, you'll attract jealousy, envy, and projection. It's not because something is wrong with you, but by nature, by you drawing in that abundance and your light expanding, the shadow of comparison will be activated by others. You'll feel energetic hooks trying to feed off your glow. And you really must discern without resentment. Because what I mean by that is if you resent other people, if you get angry, why can't they be happy for me? Why can't they be this? Why can't they be that? It is a natural aspect of the journey of true spiritual awakening and evolution. You cannot avoid it, but you can protect your heart that this actually has zero influence on you. Every day, I'm triggering the massive shit out of excuse my vulgarity in this moment, excuse my language, out of so many people in this world. There are people who call me a hardcore feminist. There are people who call me someone who is supporting the patriarchy and wants women to be submissive. You can't imagine. I am being called everything you can possibly imagine. And before, I used to care much more about that. I was more debating with people or wanting to prove that I am not that, wanting to be seen a certain way. And now I see it, I notice it, I don't love it, I don't like it. But at the same time, I have a level of indifference about it because I understand that not everyone will understand and feel the truth and energetic signature and the embodiment and my lived experience behind everything I teach and what I do. Those who do, there is my focus, there is my intention on serving those, on serving you at the absolute highest level. Everything else is just me wanting to be validated. It's just me being afraid of being rejected, being afraid of not being liked. And it's a very powerful feeling because even though I am theoretically attracting envy and jealousy, it's not having an impact on me because my energetic shield is clear. Now, this is where it gets interesting. If it isn't clear and that naturally happens as a response to you living a deep mission, living your vision, drawing abundance, bringing abundance into your life, which is your birthright as a human soul, the moment this happens and you kind of start debating, this energy starts to impact you very strongly, that's the moment where it has influence on you. That's the moment where you start to doubt yourself. That's the moment where you hold back. Maybe you withdraw. Maybe you even start to believe some of the nonsense that other people's shadow will make up about you. So the danger is not that the shadow will be triggered. The shadow will see you. How can you not be seen if you expand in your light? The challenge is, do you let that shit in? Do you actually resonate with that? Do you actually even entertain that? Or are you so rooted in your light and power that you can see it for what it is? You're not happy about it. And maybe at times even it means dealing with that for a short moment, even though that's not what you want to do. But in that, you're also transmuting darkness. Maybe not their own darkness because they can't see it, but you are strengthening your own light more. It's a true spiritual practice that hardly anyone speaks of. And that really also ties into the whole abundance piece, really, but we can call it stepping into your calling. When you step into your calling, you will face the might of the entire collective shadow. Society might call you arrogant and why don't you fit in anymore? And your truth is extreme and whatever will be projected onto you through different faces, different places, different systems, family system, work system, friendship circles, whatever, you name it. You will hear a kind of barrage around you from people who feel massively exposed and triggered by you giving yourself permission to actually step into your soul's calling. That in itself, you will be seen. You cannot avoid that. You will be seen by the shadows of so many people. And why is that? Because you're ultimately exposing the realization that other people have who are, let's say, in total shadowlands. They don't believe that's possible. They have accepted their limitations or perceived limitations. They live in total scarcity and are not open to letting go of that identity and to opening to true expansion, true abundance, and true freedom. And those people will have a massive problem with you because you show them what they could have been, but you also in that moment reveal how they ultimately wasted their life, how they made a contract with limitation. That's not easy to see. Now, those who are meant to awaken might be triggered at first, but then they want to grow with you, they want to be around you. These are different because they're open, they're willing, and they're evolving. But those who are not ready, they would rather preserve their image than be willing to admit that you're embodying something which they actually deeply admire and desire. So that the next response then is to try to diminish your light, to try to pull you down with them, because otherwise it hurts their ego too much. Big difference. Some get triggered, but they evolve with you because they recognize your light. Others cannot. Ego preservation is more important to them, at least in this journey of their soul. Shadows appear through people, through many faces. They were familiar faces, partners, friends, colleagues, spiritual peers, your whatever spiritual peers you know, right? There's a lot of shadow in the spiritual community. It's everywhere ultimately. Not everyone carrying this kind of strong resistance and shadow is necessarily evil, so to speak. Most are simply unconscious, but some are fully overtaken by it. And it's very important. Ancient teachings talk about this, but this has been mainly lost in today's world. Some of these people who are so overtaken by the shadow, these are people who are not going to change. And if you try to speak heart to heart, if you try to kind of do something there, you're only essentially handing them your light, and they are diminishing your power in that moment because you are not in discernment. You are not in divine protection in that moment. So this is very, very important. There are certain people who should not have access to your energy field. Discernment is your sword. Integrity is your divine protection, your armor, so to speak. And stillness and groundedness may just be your shield. The stronger your light, the more you reveal what was already there. You didn't create the shadow. You are just illuminating and revealing it at the highest level. You didn't provoke the reaction. You exposed what was hidden, what was buried in the first place. You cannot create something, so to speak. You reveal what was already there from a perspective of triggering the shadow. Of course, you can create something new in that sense. I'm speaking of the shadow. Now, I believe this makes it really clear at a deeper level. Let's get ultra practical. How can you move powerfully? What can you actually do step by step when the shadow around you starts to rise, starts to become activated? Number one, you might want to write this down. Learn to feel what is yours and what is not. Before reacting, pause, and you can ask yourself this really powerful and simple question: is this mine? And many times you will notice you're carrying the fears, projections, and pain and suffering and bad mood and negative energies of others. They actually have nothing to do with you. Much of the heaviness you feel during your expansion is not necessarily your own heaviness, but is the heaviness of others. You need to be mindful that you don't become a sponge that's just soaking up everything around you. And the moment you name it, the moment you say, this is not mine, this is not mine, it loses its grip over you. It cannot have its grip on you unless you identify with the belief that it is yours. The moment you understand it is not yours, there is a distance between you and that thing. And in that distance is your discernment, is your awareness, and is your conscious presence and power. Number two, we can call strengthen your energetic hygiene. This means When you start to feel off, listen to your body, listen to the deeper intelligence of your spiritual system, so to speak, of the intelligence of your body. Water, breath, silence, whatever you need in those moments, these rituals ultimately become cleansing rituals. When you drink consciously water, that process of hydration, that process of giving your body, if it's what it needs in that moment, can be a form of cleansing. And it goes, of course, beyond that. There are cleansing rituals and protecting your energy, but you don't necessarily need to do 20 protecting your energy rituals. Otherwise, it becomes obsessive and anxious. You're not some kind of under attack and war constantly. That in itself would be anxiety of the shadow ultimately. But really small rituals, conscious breath, movement, just a moment of stillness, just slowing down, just feeling your body. That is you practicing energetic hygiene, is cleansing your energy field and really dropping into who you are, your true light. That's where these doubts and the heaviness can more easily fall away. Whatever it is, true simple rituals that act as a form of not just re-energizing, but also cleanse your energy. And by cleanse your energy, I mean rituals that connect you with you, not a distraction, but your essence, your being. Because then you're in your authentic power and truth. Number 3, you might want to write this down. Stop explaining your light. When people project onto you, don't defend or justify. That's really, really important. The shadow feeds on a reaction of you. Presence and the lack of explanation starves this kind of shadow dynamic. The moment you stop explaining yourself, which is always connected to you wanting to be validated, you wanting to be seen, the moment you no longer feed and starve that part of yourself is the moment you can be in full grounded power, even when others want you to explain yourself, defend or justify. Just don't play the game. And when you stop playing the game, then people no longer have power over you. Because people who manipulate know how to press your buttons. But if your buttons can't be pressed, then what happens? No one has power over you anymore. This is how you protect and cleanse your energy. Number 4, write this down. Build your power through containment. I don't advise announcing every insight of victory with the world. Only with people who can receive it and vibrate at your level of consciousness. With other people where you've seen the envy, where you've seen the shadow very, very strongly, with those people, it is essential that you practice containment. Not containment in silencing yourself, but containment in realizing that when you overshare with those people, it will create dynamics where you will feel heaviness and pain. This is about protecting your abundance, protecting your energy, and not allowing others to interfere with your energy field, which would then make you feel off or make you feel disconnected. Number 5, create sacred distance when needed. You are not here to dismantle every person's shadow. Focus on your own shadow. Focus on staying grounded and rooted in your truth. That's the deepest medicine and soul work you can ever offer to this world. Some people just won't awaken in this life. Some energies are not yours to heal. Step back when you consistently feel drained, or you feel you're being attacked by this person, or you feel these ego games and dynamics. Distance here is not coldness, it is alignment. It is the sacred ultimately. Because embodying love means you no longer allow your heart and energy to be treated like a doormat. You treat it as sacred ground, holy ground. Next one, anchor in silence every single day. Whether we call it silence, presence, or feeling your body, stillness holds an incredible power. Because in the absence of noise and distractions, your true being and power is revealed. Find rituals daily, short moments. More and short and consistent is much more powerful than 2-3 hours really intense, but then forgetting about it the rest of the week or the month. Less is more, short, but true quality, true intention behind it. In the absence of noise and distractions, you connect with your light and truest power. And ultimately, remember the fucking law. The stronger your light, the bigger the shadow. When the shadow rises around you, your own shadow becomes activated. It means you are doing the work your soul came here to do. Don't shy away from it. Don't try to get away from it. Don't do a spiritual framework or practice how you finally get rid of it. Instead, make peace with it. Put your focus and attention on the abundance and beauty and the freedom you draw in when you walk the path your soul is meant to walk, and learn from everything else. Learn from the resistance, and ultimately you learn one thing only, that no matter what happens, I can still embody my light. I can still embody my highest truth. I am still safe. I am still here, unshaken. Thank you for listening to this episode. It is a true honor to have you here. I feel so much gratitude for being a part, in small or big ways, in your sacred and powerful journey, evolving as a soul in this life. For us to continue to serve you at the highest level, providing this content entirely for free on this platform or many other platforms, it would mean the world to me if I can have a few seconds of your time. If you can leave this show 5 stars or give it a thumbs up wherever you're watching or listening, that goes a long way. Even further, 30 to 6 seconds of your time to write a very short review or a comment about the impact of this show, or sharing it with a friend or on your social media, whatever you resonate most with. One action, one small action goes much further than you might think and allows us to bring this important work to more people, to bring this service, to bring these deeper truths to more people. Once again, thank you so much for being here. If you want to benefit from more free offerings, check out the episode description or the show notes. You have my free newsletter, comes out every Friday. Deep value, so much power in that. Free ebooks, and you'll find more there. I'm so honored to have you here. Thank you.